Justin M. Bailey here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Justin M. Bailey. I'm a novelist, and if you'll permit me, I want to talk about this video game on my shirt. I want to talk about Earthbound. A game profound. A game that if you had told me 3 years ago that this would become one of my most favorite games of all time, I would think you were on crack. I never thought I would have liked this game. Ever. Never, ever, ever. But I did. It's one of my favorites. So, let's talk about Earthbound. Earthbound. What a phenomenon. What a crazy story this game's got. And I'm not talking about 4 psychic children saving the world from aliens. I'm talking about going from one of Nintendo's biggest failures of the 16-bit era to one of the most beloved, praised, and talked about RPG games in the United States right now. Forgive me, but when I was a kid, this game looked really stupid. I'm sorry, come get me starmen.net, but compared to games like Donkey Kong Country, the graphics of Earthbound looked terrible. And the characters, oh god, I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this. The characters looked like a joke. Nintendo wanted me to shell out $70 of my allowance money to play a game as this guy? Seriously? This guy? What was Nintendo thinking? Here we were in the middle of the 90s attitude era, meaning if you didn't have attitude, you didn't sell. And Nintendo wanted me to play a game as this cutesy poo little kid? Look at the characters we had back then, and then go take another look at NES. We had Sonic the Hedgehog, Earthwork Jim, Mega Man X, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Bill Clinton. NES looked like the kid that got beaten up every day, and that was most of us when we were kids. Why would we want to have a whole day of getting pink-bellied and swirlied and wedgied, and then come home to play a game as this kid? Even old ladies and police officers want to beat up NES. Why would I want to play this game? Oh, and to top it all off, it's an RPG? Who played RPGs back then? Nobody cared that this game was set in a modern setting instead of a medieval one. Nobody cared that it was baseball bats and yo-yos instead of arrows and swords. And who the fuck cared that it was created by the guy who did the voice of the dad from My Neighbor Totoro? It's a miracle anybody played this game at all! But, all jokes aside, as you and I know, some people did actually end up playing this game. And from these simple beginnings, from the ashes of its huge financial failure, Earthbound would one day rise up and be considered not only one of the greatest 16-bit games ever made, not only one of the greatest RPGs ever made, but it's considered to be one of the greatest games of all time, myself included. So how did I finally come across Earthbound? Well, purely by accident, actually. Halloween 2011. I was watching ScrewAttack.com. They posted a list called the Top 10 Scariest Retro Enemies of Video Games. Something I was very curious to see, very excited about. But I wasn't expecting anything life-changing. I wasn't expecting anything earth-shattering, if you'll forgive me a pun. But when they got to the #1 creature on that list, I saw something flash before my eyes like nothing I had ever seen before. Something terrifying. Of course, I'm talking about Giygas. Jesus Christ, I saw this creature called Giygas, and I have never said the word fuck more times in my entire life.
Earthbound is a game that's all cute and fun. It's happiness and joy and flowers. Now kill this fetus. Now kill this fetus. Kill this fetus. Kill this fetus. Earthbound is a game that's all cute and fun. It's happiness and joy and flowers. Now kill this fetus. How terrifying is that? How terrifying is that? You walk into this room and you're welcomed by the omnipresent floating red skull of an unborn child. And it wants to kill you. And it wants to kill you. And it wants to kill you. When you're welcomed by the omnipresent floating red skull of an unborn child. And it wants to kill you.
What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Did he say kill this fetus? Omnipresent floating red skull of an unborn child? Jesus Christ! What the fuck? Holy shit, did he say Earthbound? Earthbound? Cutesy poo Earthbound having one of the most terrifying images I have seen, 16-bit or otherwise? Well, what the fucking fuck? How the hell could anything like that successfully get itself into a kid's video game back then? It looked like something from the movie Alien. It looked like something from H.R. Geiger. It looked like something vaginal. Yes, vaginal. I said vaginal. I was genuinely spooked. Giygas scared the hell out of me, and I wanted to know everything I could about him.
Holy crap, Earthbound!
I watched Roo from Clan of the Grey Wolf's history of Earthbound over a dozen times.
I love balls!
I watched Chuck Conroy play the final boss even more, and I watched every single relevant YouTube clip I could find regarding the scary floating red baby skull that is Giygas. I have never been so curious about a game in my entire life. I researched the hell out of it before I even played it because, let's face it, back then, for some of us, researching Earthbound was all we could do. It was not up for download on the Wii store. I didn't have $200 to spend on an old game cartridge, so I did what I'm guessing most people do when they first experience Earthbound. I downloaded it illegally. Come and get me, Nintendo of America. You'll never take me alive. I did! I broke the law, and I'm sorry. But I really wanted to play this game. I really wanted to experience Earthbound for myself, and that's exactly what Earthbound is. It's an experience. One like no other. Now, I've often heard it said over and over again, to play Earthbound is to love Earthbound. And this is often followed by, if you haven't played this game, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm actually forced to agree. Now, Earthbound is not what I expected it to be. I was hoping for the Path of Darkness. I was hoping for Stephen King's It rendered into 16-bit graphics, but what I got was something so much better. I got the Catcher in the Rye of video games. Earthbound is the Catcher in the Rye. And I'm sure I'm not the first to make this connection. There are too many similarities between the two. Both are masterpieces. Both are fucking genius. Both were created by men with one very important thing in common. Both of these men, J.D. Salinger, Catcher in the Rye, Shigesato Itoi, Earthbound, were men shaped by trauma. They were shaped by a specific trauma that occurred at a very specific time in each of their lives, permanently stapling parts of their mindset in the mentality when the trauma occurred. Now, what the fuck does that mean? Well, in the case of J.D. Salinger, it means you are getting an experience like no other. When you read his story, you know exactly what it feels like to be a disenfranchised youth, because that's exactly what he was when he left to fight World War II. The man experienced Normandy and the concentration camps firsthand, and his mind never recovered. His mind never left the mentality of a disenfranchised youth. In the case of Shigesato Itoi, once again, you're getting an experience like no other. You know exactly what it's like to be an innocent child in a not-so-innocent world, because that's exactly what Itoi's son was when he walked into the wrong movie as a young kid and witnessed a brutal, violent rape scene. Part of his mind never recovered. Part of his mind never left the mentality of an innocent youth experiencing anything but. And the man put it in a fucking video game! Fucking genius! How many movies or games or books can you get an experience like you did in Earthbound? I grew to love Earthbound so much in the past 2 years since I was made aware of it, I played through the whole game twice. I bought myself my own copy! I can't gush about how much this game has tickled me. What an experience. So profound. Remarkable. It truly belongs up there with one of those things like Catcher in the Rye. And if you haven't read Catcher in the Rye, go ahead. Give it a read. Trust me. If you like Earthbound, I'm sure you'll like Catcher. Read a book. It won't hurt you. So, thank you for watching my video. Thank you very much for your time. I bought myself my own copy! Come and get me, Nintendo of America. Thank you.